Hi, welcome to CloudEagle's Insights in Minutes. Let me start with a question nobody wants to ask out loud. Does your company even know how much it's really spending on Zoom or how many people have hidden accounts?
That's the $1 million dilemma. And what's wild is, most teams think picking a Zoom plan is just about price, when it's really about governance, compliance, and risk. We're unpacking both sides today.
Absolutely. I'm here with you to explore not just how to pick the right Zoom plan, but also how to avoid costly mistakes once Zoom is everywhere in your org.
So if you're wondering which tier you need, how to negotiate a better deal, and how to keep your licenses under control, stick around. We'll dig into the hidden costs, security blind spots, and the must-ask governance questions. Want a roadmap?
Here's what we'll cover: why companies outgrow free Zoom, what each plan really includes, how security gaps sneak in, the add ons that bloat your bill, and how to negotiate the smartest deal. Let's get into it.
So, let's start with the basics. People love Zoom's free plan, but for businesses, it barely scratches the surface. Those 40-minute meeting limits can tank productivity fast.
You're right. I've lost count of how many times a crucial meeting got cut off mid discussion. And then there's the lack of cloud recording, makes it impossible to keep an audit trail or catch up later.
Plus, free plans don't give you single sign-on or admin controls, so IT has zero ability to manage users or enforce compliance. For any team beyond a handful of people, that's asking for trouble.
And if something goes wrong, support is basically just user forums. When your business relies on Zoom, that's not enough. Which is why nearly everyone upgrades, but picking the right plan isn't as simple as it sounds.
Once you look at paid plans, the waters get murky. A lot of companies jump to business or enterprise tiers for things like SSO, advanced admin, and compliance tools. But list price is only half the story.
Exactly. What's wild is two companies can pay the same for Zoom Business, but one ends up tightly governed, while the other is a compliance mess with open access and no offboarding.
And nobody mentions how quickly costs scale with headcount and add-ons. I've seen teams paying for features they never use or overbuying capacity based on just-in-case scenarios.
It comes back to understanding not just what you're buying, but how your team really uses Zoom day to day. Otherwise, you're spending more than you need and still carrying risk.
That actually reminds me, one of the biggest Zoom risks isn't even the product. It's how easy it is for anyone to swipe a corporate card and buy their own pro license. That's how shadow IT starts.
Exactly. Those self-purchased accounts fly under IT's radar, and if an employee leaves, their access and recordings can stick around unchecked. Without SSO and proper offboarding, you've got a big security hole.
And it's not just ex-employees. Guest users, open meeting links, and even AI-generated transcripts can all slip through without clear policies. CISOs need to audit not just who has access, but how data is handled and retained.
If you aren't regularly reviewing licenses, usage, and retention, you're inviting compliance headaches. Let's talk about how automated tools can help you see the full picture.
Funny you mention automation, because a lot of the biggest Zoom bills come from add-ons. Events, webinars, extra storage. Teams often buy way more than they need.
Completely agree. I've seen companies with 1,000-seat webinar licenses that only draw 150 attendees most times. Or they pay for unused premium features and inactive host accounts.
And don't forget Zoom, Phone, and Rooms. Those can become silent budget drains if you're not tracking real usage. The fix? Regular audits and right-sizing before your renewal date.
It's wild how often shelfware sneaks in because nobody checks usage. With the right tools, you can spot idle licenses, unused add-ons, and negotiate a more accurate contract.
Let's switch gears and talk negotiation. Most buyers just haggle over price, but the real wins come from benchmarking and asking for the right terms, like data residency or compliance guarantees.
That's a game changer. If you know what similar companies actually pay, you've got leverage. Plus, more value comes from strategic perks, longer trials, tailored onboarding, or custom audit logs than a few percentage points off.
And if your vendor pushes back on governance requests, that's a red flag. Always ask for compliance docs, audit log SLAs, and clarity on how AI features handle your data before you sign.
With a smart negotiation strategy, you don't just save money, you reduce risk and get more from your Zoom investment. That's where benchmarking platforms can really pay off.
Of course, Zoom isn't the only game in town. If the price or security model doesn't fit, there are solid alternatives like Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, or Cisco WebEx.
Right, Teams works especially well if you're already deep in the Microsoft stack. Google Meet is great for simple, browser-based meetings, and WebEx is a favorite when end-to-end security is the top priority.
Don't sleep on GoToMeeting or BlueJeans either. Each brings different strengths, like killer audio, analytics, or seamless mobile support. The trick is matching the platform to your actual workflow and compliance needs.
Whether you stick with Zoom or explore the alternatives, the core lesson is the same. Focus on real needs, usage, and governance, not just the sticker price or shiny features.
Let's wrap with 3 essentials. First, free Zoom is great for solos, but businesses need paid plans for compliance and control. Second, the biggest costs and risks come from hidden licenses and unused add-ons. Third, smart negotiation means benchmarking and pushing for governance, not just discounts.
And your next step? Run a Zoom license audit. Check actual usage, spot shadow accounts, and flag dormant add-ons. With that info, you can negotiate better terms and finally get control over both your spend and your security.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to dig deeper, download a benchmarking report or connect with a SaaS governance expert. You'll be amazed how much you can save and how many risks you'll avoid by taking charge now.
Thanks again for joining us today. Take care, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Insights in Minutes.